what's up? Today I'm coming at you from Amsterdam. I got lucky enough to spend the Christmas weekend at my aunt's place. She lives here, so it's a pretty nice place, really amazing city, and definitely had an awesome stay here so far. Today I wanted to do a little video on a book that I would say has changed my life completely, and that is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, or Tolle. I'm not really sure which way is the right way to pronounce his name, but either way, this book, it's golden. In the style of the way I've done some of my other book reviews, I'm just going to give a couple lessons I've learned from this book that have been a big influence in my life. But first, I thought I'd give kind of the main premise of the book for people who've never heard of it, who've never heard of Eckhart, or The Power of Now, or any of these kind of, I guess, new agey concepts that the book contains. So the main idea of it is being in the present moment, or living in the present moment. So Eckhart Tolle talks about being present, being conscious, other words for it which he doesn't really use as much, but other kind of spiritual or self-help teachers might use mindfulness, meditation, things like that. So the main idea of the book is how to become present to the moment, or how to live in the now, hence the power of now. So the first main lesson that I got out of this book, it was a completely revolutionary one for me, and it was the idea that you are not your thoughts. Now, before I found this book, it was about 3 years ago that I first picked up a copy. I would say that I was completely identified with pretty much everything I thought and felt at the time. So my thoughts and emotions, whether they be good or bad, positive or negative, I kind of just associated that with who I am. So when I was in a bad mood, when I'd have a thought like, these people don't like me, or man, this situation sucks, I would kind of fully invest in that. And that caused a lot of pain and emotional struggle in my life for pretty much as long as I can remember, as far back as I can remember. I was completely controlled by a lot of negative emotions. So when I first read this book, and Eckhart Tolle said, separate yourself from your thoughts, or you can become the observer of your thoughts, as he says it. It was kind of like one of those split-second life-changing moments, I think, in how I perceived my thoughts, how I perceived who I was. So I kind of took a step back, a mental step back, and just tried to observe some of the things I was thinking. And I'd never done that before. And I gotta say, it kind of created like this space between me and my thoughts. For the first time, I wasn't just reacting to everything I was thinking and feeling. I could think something like, for example, I live in LA, so being stuck in traffic is pretty common for me. So at the time, I'd be stuck in traffic and just thinking, screw every single driver on this road, why does this have to happen to me? Just really getting in a victim mindset. And after reading this book, I kind of was able to observe those. I'd have those same thoughts. I would still be thinking really terrible things about the drivers next to me, but I kind of was able to take a step back and not react to those thoughts. And that helped create a ton of peace in my life. And it's something that I keep coming back to over and over again. It's just really remembering to separate myself from my thoughts and my emotions, and that you can just observe them. And the cool thing about just observing those thoughts and emotions is that what I find is they usually pass a lot quicker than if you were to just react to them. The second major lesson that I got out of this book was pretty much just different ways or different techniques for getting present to the moment. The first is through your breath. Eckhart Tolle highly recommends just when you're feeling yourself getting caught up in emotions, or just feeling kind of unconscious or not really paying attention to where you are, simply take a deep breath in and observe it. Feel the breath, feel how it feels coming in, feel how it feels coming out. So that's kind of the main way I like to get present to the moment, is by paying attention to the breath. You don't even have to focus on breathing in or out, just pay attention to how it feels, because you're always breathing. So it's really just focusing on that breath. Another way that he recommends is just paying attention to the sights and sounds around you. So whether you're on a busy street or in like a forest, if you really pay attention, you can usually hear a lot more than you would when you're normally just walking through your day. So that definitely helps, focusing on what you're seeing, really looking at the objects in front of you, the details, and really seeing them. If you're listening to music, really focusing on the music, stuff like that. And then the last way that he talks about, and this is something I'm actually starting to explore more now, is getting in touch with your inner body and really feeling your inner body. And he kind of describes it as like an energy, your inner energy field, I guess, that you would feel. I don't really vibe too much with that, but I definitely noticed that if I place my attention on my inner body, especially like my hands and my feet, I can kind of feel, at the very least, I can feel more of what's going on in those parts of my body. A lot of times we don't really pay attention to how our body feels in each moment. So at the very least, I can kind of get more in touch with that. And sometimes you feel like it's almost like a subtle vibration if you really focus your attention on those parts. So those are all different techniques and ways that Eckhart Tolle teaches for getting present to the moment. They're really simple techniques, but even though they're simple, they take a lot of discipline and a lot of patience in order to practice. But in the past 3 years, I gotta say, just using these techniques, and I've come back to Eckhart Tolle and his books repeatedly, especially in some of my hardest times. And the more I focus on getting present to the moment, the more I focus on my breath, the more I focus on really just observing the things around me, the more I find a greater sense of peace in each moment. And I think that's the main thing that this book can offer anyone, is really just finding peace in any moment you're in, and realizing that you have the power to not just observe your thoughts and not just separate yourself from them, but completely embrace and enjoy any moment. So if you haven't already, definitely pick up a copy of The Power of Now. I usually read it on Kindle, but I also recently downloaded the audiobook version, which Eckhart Tolle narrates, and I find that's really soothing. Really great book to read while you're driving to work, listen to while you're driving to work, or just going about your day. He also has a couple other books, New Earth and Stillness Speaks. I've read both of them, and I highly recommend them as well. So yeah, if you're interested in how to find more peace in your life, how to become a little bit more happy and not necessarily a slave to your thoughts and emotions, definitely check out Eckhart Tolle and The Power of Now. As always, thanks for watching, and see you soon.